Hi everybody, this video is going to be about the kings in the tarot deck. If you have a problem with them, if you have situations where you have a hard time reading them, this video may help you out. Anyway, I'm Dave from Amore Style Tarot, and we want to cover all four kings. One of the things that people have a hard time with is the fact that they're simply four men sitting on thrones in slightly different environments, which kind of makes them all bleed together. If you go study, you'll find that the keywords, each one has specific keywords that are different, unique, and it's one of those things that generally you have to commit to memory. But here you might be able to use something that can help you categorize them so you can discover their meanings rather than memorize the meanings. So to start with, we talk about what they have in common. So when you look at the kings, all four kings are male. So they come with male energy. One of the things that's interesting to me about it is that when you think about a king, kings are almost always male. I mean, that's part of the definition. It's male energy. That male energy is, when you look over in astrology, is associated with Mars. So if you understand astrology, you understand the Mars concept, you can apply it across all four kings. Mars is assertive. Mars is dominant. Mars is masculine. Mars is confrontational. Mars is energetic. Mars is about drive. Mars is about conquering. So when we come around to that energy and we look at these, those are traits of kings. Kings are going to be somebody that earns their position. They are educated. They are worldly. They are diplomatic. And when they get into the role of a king, you have to be diplomatic. You have to be strategizing. You have to be able to understand how to manage your kingdom, grow your kingdom, stay in control of your kingdom. You have to be able to delegate and be able to understand when you delegate what the expected results are and be able to monitor that, which means you're going to have the ability to interact with people in a way that is a little bit more, well, you're in control. You're the king. And so this male energy, this Mars energy, plays through with each one of them. It's a very common energy. We look at it and see that each king, they tend to, in their own little ways, they tend to be the advisor. They tend to be the educated one. They tend to be the one that would be more experienced than any of the other cards. They have a unique position that they get to play in the tarot deck. They also are more like a wild card. It's more like you pull out this card, and instead of it having a specific meaning, it's something that you need to go discover. So with each one of these kings, another thing we see in common with them is that normally when you think of that Mars energy, you think of that charging forward, you think of the warrior, you think of the battle, you think of that activity, that doing. In every single case, the kings are sitting. When the kings sit, this is their non-confrontational point of view. This is their diplomacy. This is their rulership. This is them listening. This is them wanting to interact and provide advice. This is their situation where they're going to advise you. They're going to listen to what you have to say. They're going to offer what they have without being confrontational, without telling you what to do. They're offering suggestions to you. They know what the answer is, but they're going to let you discover it. They're going to let you realize what has to happen there. So this card comes up to create a conversation. Now, looking at what's different in each one of these cards, what's uniquely different is that every single king, the first thing that stands out as different is the suit. Well, the suits, we deal with the air, we deal with water, we deal with fire, we deal with earth. Okay, so it is really this dominion. So it's an elemental thing. The king comes along to show you this expertise in this dominion. Well, when we look at that and say, well, how can we get more richness out of this environmental area? Let's take, for instance, we'll look at the King of Cups. The King of Cups. So the King of Cups is the water element. And when you look at astrology, there's a water element. when you look at that water element in astrology, what do you find? You find Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. 3 distinctly different water signs. So a lot of people know things about these water signs. A lot of people know things, the astrology meaning behind these water signs. And so there's 3 different, it's not phases, it's 3 different understandings. There's 3 slightly different ways of using this water energy. Cancer is more of a nurturing, maturing, sensitive, a little bit more reserved with regards to how it puts itself out there. A Scorpio is going to be a little bit stronger. They're going to know about the vulnerabilities and they're going to attack on those vulnerabilities. They're going to defend themselves on those. They're going to go dig deep into those vulnerabilities to really explore what it means to be emotional. The Pisces is going to be a little bit more mature. It's going to be wiser with regards to it. It's going to mold to the environment. It's going to use the emotions in generally a more holistic way. Okay, but it doesn't know how to make decisions. And so when I come around to the King of Cups, quite often I'll go towards that middle Scorpio type of energy with a little bit more dynamic. But those 3 elements all are under his domain. It's under the water domain. And so you look at those characteristics and you want to be able to bring those characteristics out. And then the thing you want to do with the kings when you're learning your deck is you want to be able to find somebody that has the characteristics of that element. So to me, when I think about the emotional world and having dominion over the emotional world, I think about those that practice the efforts of stirring the emotions in others. So I think of the musician, the person that gets up on stage, that person that creates a song and they sing their song, they lay themselves bare upon the stage and it moves everybody. Everybody's brought to tears. Everybody's moved. Everybody sings along with the song. Everybody can feel that joy. It moves the entire stadium. And it's because of that power of the emotion. There's a feedback that happens with it. The king is showing everybody in the dominion of music what it feels like, how you do this. He's leading his way. He is the expert. He's teaching you the song by demonstrating it. Same thing happens in poetry. The same thing happens in live performance. It basically plays out in anywhere in that emotional realm. You get that dynamic. So what you do to help you understand this, think about somebody in that sphere that you can relate to. And so when you come around to it, you can flip this card over and say, oh, this is the emotional realm. This is like the singer. This is like the poet. This is like this. But it's somebody who has king dominion over it. They are the master of it. They're sharing with you. They're sitting in diplomacy to give you that energy. Let's move on and look at the air. So when we look at the air, we're looking at Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And so that Gemini energy is generally about the communications, about the talking. And so this particular king has characteristics that show that he's interacting. He talks, he knows how to communicate, he knows how to strategize and get you to what it is that he's thinking about. Also, we have Libra. So we have a symbol on that card that shows that there's a balance. That shows that there's a hint of Libra there. There is that air dominion. There's that balance. There's that he knows the difference on both sides of that sharp sword. He can cut for good. It can cut for bad. We move a little bit farther into Aquarius, which means he's always a couple steps ahead. He's thinking into the future. He has dominion over that entire area. So you think about the people that you know that do that. That's the energy of this card. So it's going to be the teacher. It's going to be the person that plans for the future. It's going to be that person that has grandiose thoughts, but they're very strategic. He is coming into the conversation to share that with you and how you drew this card. Moving on a little bit farther, we have the King of Wands, which is that fire element, that passion. So here we'll have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And classically, this card is generally found to be a Leo card. But think about it for a second. We have that drive forward. We have that initial energy that can drive into something, which would be the Aries energy that just go out and do it. But is from a kingly point of view, which is the advanced forward energy might be a little bit less thought out, to where we want to come to a king where it's going to be, he's going to know this passion. He's going to know how to use the passion. So to me, I tend to go to that middle sign of Leo, just like what's classically thought about for this particular card. And when I do, it's about the passion. It's about that motivational spirit. In the article that I wrote to go along with this video, it is like the speech in Braveheart, where everybody is given that motivational speech before the battle. It is stirring people with that primitive understanding, that honor, fighting for the honor, fighting for what's right, fighting for what's just, because you just know it's the right thing to do. You're willing to do that. You're willing to die for that particular principle. This particular type of person, you would think of it as a motivational speaker, or as that charismatic leader. A lot of times it can be that politician that can motivate people. It can be the environmentalist. It can be the actor. It can be that person that puts on the show. But it motivates people to be a better person, or to at least get off the couch and go do something. The King of Coins, the last one, is Earth. So here we find that we have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The Taurus energy that will go along with that is really more sensual, is more earthy. It's kind of a little bit more passive. It doesn't move as much. When we go to Virgo, it is a little bit more of a subservient energy, yet this particular card really screams out Capricorn. This is somebody that has success. They know the right way to do things. This particular person is the one that has put the energy into their art. They've manifested what they want. They've created the business. They've created the empire. They've created the kingdom. They've created this environment. They have earned that environment. They have earned that environment through their decisions. And so the Capricorn energy, or the King of Coins in this case, is going to show us that this is the businessman. This is the person that has created that. He's highly educated. It is the professor. It is the person of respect. It is the person that authored the books. It is the person of knowing that has also gathered wealth. So rather than him telling you what it's about, his status, his wealth, the results of his actions demonstrates his kingdom. And so find somebody in your life that fits that mold, and that will be what comes up every time this card comes up. You're going to see it for what it is. And then when we look at all the kings, the key thing is they have things in common because they're all kings. They're all sitting, which shows that they're willing to interact with you. They're willing to listen to you. They want to share that with you. But they're all kings over their dominion. So if you go look at the video that I did about scepters, you find that none of these kings have a scepter. But the scepter that you would carry here is their suit. They are kings over that dominion. And that dominion, the color that we get, is the aspect that is commonly known as the emotions or the water signs. And so you can go look into the areas of your life that bring that in. So it's a full range, which means these court cards are going to bring up a conversation. We want to explore what they have to offer. We want to look at it from that bigger, educated point of view. And you're going to find that the readings will be a lot more successful when you start to see these particular court cards in this dominion as having control over that dominion. Anyway, I hope that helps with your reading of these particular cards. And I will look forward to your comments. If you have comments about these, love to hear it. Anyway, have fun dealing out your next cards.